So these compound inequalities are OR statements. If you see there's an OR in this one, and it's basically two separate equations. I know that right now we have a negative 4 plus x on this side and negative 4 plus x on this side. They can be the same, but they might also be two different inequalities equations, and you'll see that on example number 4. But we're going to start working this one out. So for my left equation, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I'm going to get x is greater than 5. So that's my first inequality. My second equality, to use the same steps, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. The 4s are going to cancel out, and I'm going to have x is less than. It's going to be negative 3 plus 4, so I'm going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number, so it's going to be 1 is my other inequality. I'm going to plot my graph. So my smaller number is 1, so that goes on the left side. My bigger number is 5, so that goes on the right side. I know for 1, we have x is less than 1, no equal sign. So that means this is going to be an open circle. And all the numbers that are less than 1 are to the left side, to negative infinity. So I'm going to have open circle at 1, because that's not part of my answer, in parentheses. And all my solutions are all the negative numbers all the way to 1, but not including 1. For my other inequality, again, it has no equal sign. So this is going to be an open circle. That means 5 is not part of my solution, just our starting point. And it's all the numbers that are greater than 5. So all the numbers that are greater than 5 are to the right side. So open circle, parentheses, everything to the right, so to positive infinity. This right here is my inequality answers. This is my graphical answers. And now all I need to do is my integral notation, which is my domain. So my domain is a little different for ORs. So we need to show it's all the answers to the left, but all this middle piece is not included. But then we are uniting the right side of this. So there's a symbol that we use. It's a big U for union. So you're uniting the left side and the right side, but not including the middle numbers. So for our domain, it's going to be from negative infinity to 1, parentheses, because it's not part of our solution, union 5, parentheses, because, it's not part of our solution, all the way to infinity. And that is our integral notation answer. For B, it's kind of the same process. We're going to have our right equation and our left equation. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. We're going to have x is greater than or equal to 6, because your 1 and plus 5 is 6. Then we're going to add 5 to both sides for our right equation. And we're going to have x is less than or equal to negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. So now we have our two equations. So we have x is less than or equal to negative 1, and x is greater than or equal to 6. So 6 is my bigger number, so that goes on the right. My negative 1 goes on the left. It's my smaller number. Since it has an equal right there, that means this is going to be a filled-in circle, and it's all the numbers that are less than 1, so it's going to go to the left side. So a filled-in circle at negative 1, and it's a bracket because part of our answers, and it's all the answers that are less than negative 1, so to negative infinity. For this inequality, again, it's an equal, so this should have a closed circle, bracket, and it's all the x's that are greater than 6. It's all the numbers to the right of 6. So we're going to have closed circle at 6, bracket, and all the numbers that are greater than 6. That means going to positive infinity. And now we're going to do our domain. Same way, we have to say all the negative numbers to negative 1, including 1, union 6, including 6, all the way to infinity. So we're going to have from negative infinity to negative 1 included, union to 6, and we include 6 with a bracket, all the way to infinity. And that is our integral notation answer. So same concept that we did on the previous example. We're going to add 1 to both sides. We're going to have 4x is less than 16. Divide both sides by 4, and you're going to get x is less than 4. That is one inequality answer. We're going to divide the other side, both sides, by 8. We're going to get x is greater than or equal to 6. That's my other inequality. Then we're going to graph those. So we're going to have 6 and 4. So for 4, it has no equal sign, so it's going to be open circle, and it's less than, so all the numbers to the left, which is negative infinity. For 6, if you notice, it has an equal sign, so we're going to fill in the circle, and it's all the numbers are greater than 6, so that goes to the right side, to positive infinity. And that means our domain is going to be all the negative numbers, all the way to 4, not including 4, and then we're going to unite all the way to 6, including 6. This is why I use a bracket, to infinity. And that is our domain for 4A. Now, for B, same concept. We're going to divide both sides by 4, just like we've been doing, simple solving for x. And you're going to get 3/2 if you reduce it, or you could get 1.5, either or, for your answer. And for your other one, you divide both sides by 3, and you're going to get x is greater than 4. We know that 3/2 or 1.5 is smaller, so that goes on the left, 4 goes on the right. 1.5 has an equal, so that means it's going to be a filled-in circle. 4 has a no equal, so open circle. X is less than 3/2, so that's going to go to the left side, to negative infinity. And x is greater than 4, all the numbers that are greater than 4 are to the right side, to positive infinity. And that means our domain is going to be, again, smaller numbers to bigger numbers. So we're going to have from negative infinity, which is our smaller numbers, all the way to 3/2 or 1.5, including, that's why we put a bracket, union, parentheses, 4 to positive infinity. And again, the 4 has parentheses because there is no equal. For this thing, we're going to write a compound inequality shown by the graph. So they give us a graph, we got to write the compound inequality. If you notice, there is no intersection. They're not colliding. So these are all both going to be or statements. So you're going to have two separate inequalities, not an overlapping. No, so it's not an and statement. So since this right here is an open circle, there's no equal sign, and it's all the numbers that are less than. So we're going to have less than sign here. So since this right there is a closed circle, we're going to have an equal, and it's all the numbers that are greater than, so it's going to be greater than sign. So we're going to have x is less than -4 for our left inequality, or for our right inequality, x is greater than or equal to 2. So this is my compound inequality for that graph. For 5b, same kind of concept. Since it's filled in right here, we're going to have equal. And all my answers are to the left, so that means less than. Filled in again for 7, it's equal. And all my answers are to the right, that means greater than. So now we have x is less than or equal to -1, or x is greater than or equal to 7. And that is my inequality for this one.